19 and right over there. About maybe 70 yards over that way. Oops, sorry about that. Right. So we're gonna see how far they take us, but they're saying 19. I'm gonna return the Delta thing, of course. Pretty clunky. Kind of get an idea. I'll have to study on baggage. These other ones that are a little bit different. I asked to borrow one, but they were returning it, so they got to get the quarter in it. This one we're gonna go with back seat. I think it's pretty heavy. All right, they're saying it's okay to leave at the door. I usually leave at the door anyway, but they mean leave the luggage at the door, which is good, kinda. I'll knock anyway, just in case. I can always, you know, say, well, I got my Cash App and Venmo. If, you know, if you want to leave a tip, you at least let them know, because you don't know exactly how their tip system works. You don't know how any tip system works. Probably the airport thing is the show. The reason I'm anal retentive, and I do these like 4-5 vlogs a day, because I don't know how useful this stuff would be, and I care about views, but I'm not only after views, but I do care about them. If I was only after views, then my show would probably be drastically different. I do like my show. I like some of the episodes, some of the vlogs, the ones that dissolve into each other. Not the biggest fan of that, but some may like that. Breck Roll dissolves every other shot, so that just goes to show. So does Scott on Tape. That goes to show that it does. You can dissolve between each one on these kinds of things. But I do like when I put in some editing work as well as the filming, so I like to balance it out. Those are usually the good ones. I don't know if I got actual funding, if I would stay in surrealism, you could call it. That's what Lynchian stuff is, surrealism. But I certainly have it. I have dream sequences in Grace, at least one. And I do like surreal. I like moments of surrealism. but he kind of sticks to his gun. Now, Twin Peaks, of course, and those things are not all surreal. They're based in reality, but he's just very good with it. So I think it comes and goes just like dreams do. I don't know. I probably would want to try a surreal piece if that's possible. All right, gotta go. There is a lot of similarities between David Lynch and Martin Scorsese. They both deal in the surreal. They both deal in rock and roll. David Lynch choosing the Smashing Pumpkins and a few others, and well, many others, even the Nine Inch Nails. And of course, Scorsese choosing everyone from the Rolling Stones to punk rock music for Departed. They're both deal in the same mindset. One moves the camera different than the other, and one approaches dreams differently than the other. I would say that Lynch started off very advanced, very much ahead of his own time. And I would say Scorsese started off very true to himself, and also auteur. Scorsese knew his style quick. You know, everything that... Scorsese's very quick and knew his voice very quickly. Lynch took some time to get to Mulholland Drive. You know, it took time, which I think is one of the greatest. But like I said, they both speak differently, but they use a very similar medium, and they're both very masterful and to keep your eyes on for learning. They transition differently, they speak differently, and they use sound differently, but they're both equally great. I wouldn't put one above the other because they're from two different worlds. But when it comes to surrealism, I would probably put David Lynch first, and when it comes to realism, I'd put Martin Scorsese first. But Taxi Driver is very surreal, but not like Grandmother, you know. But still good. They're both very great teachers of the craft, and very good for the actor. Very good for the actor. Most actors are going to like those two, especially Scorsese. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is where I do the opposite. I'm doing the opposite. Target style approved. There's the flag. And we're off. And if they ask me who would you choose to work with, that's a hard one, because I didn't get to meet Martin Scorsese. I only got to meet Lynch. But I gotta check out here, because I gotta get use the device for you know, for the good stuff. I'm just guessing. All right, for $19, we're going 26 miles, 41 minutes. We'll be there at 7:53 in the p.m. Hopefully we can, you know, meet them and ask, you know, for Cash App tip. So, you know, who would I rather work with, Martin Scorsese or David Lynch? Well, they're good and evil in both ways. And the evil side, of course, is Scorsese deals with crime and law, which is tough. That's a tough thing to deal with. He deals with it a whole lot, crime and law, but also love and spirituality. Lynch, he really does deal with the demonic things and spirituality. Well, it's more like otherworldly, and then dreamlike stuff. You know, it's dream stuff. So that they're different. You know, I'd have to say both. But the good side of them is that they're artists. What they present is not always wholesome good stuff. They're not working for Disney. They're working from their heart. It's hard. It's a hard one. Scorsese comes from a film. One of the films that affected him was The Wrong Man, and I think Alfred Hitchcock was behind that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Peter Fonda's dad was the guy that was in it. And that one it's very Hitchcockian. You know, it's about the law getting a hold of the wrong man. He has to do time, and then when he comes back, his wife's in a sanitarium. Henry Fonda is in it. Lynch, I think, is inspired by paintings and dreams. Maybe Fellini, because we met him. And I think Scorsese's inspired by the same. Fellini, too. And, you know, Bergman maybe a little bit. I think he has an odd connection with Bergman, because Scorsese has a background in seminary, and, you know, being a priest, a Catholic priest. I don't know David Lynch's background in religion. But I know that they're probably most likely believers. I would say, I don't know, only God would know that. Even if they gave an answer you didn't like, only God would truly know that. Just like I think, you know, we don't know the true mind and heart of Bergman. You know, Ingmar Bergman, even coming out as an atheist, we don't know the true mind and heart of him. Only God knows those things about us. Anyway, I just wanted to say those things. Would I say Alfred Hitchcock's better than Scorsese and Lynch? For his time, Hitchcock was, but the acting, of course, is going to be lacking. And technicality, as in technical aspects, maybe be lacking. It's hard, that's a real hard one to say, oh yeah, sure, they're better than Hitchcock because they have better equipment and more advanced acting. It's hard to say on that one. Psycho is a great movie by Alfred Hitchcock. Anthony Perkins is a very real performance. It competes with any of them nowadays. Playing Norman Bates. Mother, you know, that whole stuff. We don't get that kind of classic stuff. Rear Window is a great film. It's highly entertaining. They've never been able to give it a proper remake. I wouldn't attempt to try a remake on a Hitchcock, but you know, Scorsese did fine with Cape Fear on the remake. Probably excelled over, meaning the Cape Fear with De Niro. That one, I'm probably going to give it over to Scorsese, but it doesn't necessarily say, okay, Hitchcock's inferior, you know, than they're all probably maybe on the same levels. Hitchcock he'll stand the test of time. Plus, even kids and stuff know that name, Alfred Hitchcock. You know, people know about Alfred Hitchcock, and he wasn't of my time. I didn't grow up on Alfred Hitchcock. We had to watch reruns on TBS or, you know, some weird cable show. And I love him. I love the way he enters into a scene, how still he is with the camera, how he takes time with every shot. Alfred Hitchcock had it going on. Let's just put it that way. And I know that Martin Scorsese was influenced by Alfred Hitchcock, and I certainly know that David Lynch was as well, doing a television show. But a lot of people would say, oh, God, Martin Scorsese is way more entertaining than Alfred Hitchcock. I don't necessarily say that completely. Not completely. I wouldn't say he's, you know, but he's on his level. You know, those guys reach those levels for sure. I mean, After Hours is an incredible movie. Taxi Driver is amazing. I don't know if Hitchcock can make Taxi Driver. I don't think Hitchcock can make Blue Velvet. You know, so they're all great. You know, they're all great. If they're all in the same room, they would all share a great cup of coffee with some hot cherry pie. And if Scorsese was there with Harvey Keitel, he'd get some tacos. They get some tacos too. Pray for Lewiston, Maine. Pray for Lewiston, Maine. Kind of excited that I have a possible short maybe coming up as cinema rather than vlog, because I got confused, and when I really got into vlogging, I maybe was, well, I had worked on the projectionist, worked on the filmmakers, the script, and no attention, no hint of funding. James Lipton was still around at that time, and I even invited him, or I was, you know, pretty much asking him to play the character of the judge in The Projectionist. But, you know, I had to turn over to vlogging because I had to get the attention of the public first, which I'm trying to do still. And then from there, I think if we went over the people, I think eventually we'll be able to get the funding for something small, especially something like baggage. If anyone wants to donate for the short film baggage or wants to jump on as a producer, leave your information in the comment section. I'll get a hold of you. We'll find a way to talk. And I don't need a whole lot. I can tell you what we would need. We wouldn't need anything with costumes. We wouldn't need anything specific. We might need to cover the cost of paying the actor or the actors, because there'd be 2 actors in it, or something like that. And if you're interested in jumping on board, let me know. There's another silver alert coming up. We'll get in touch with you, and you would get credit on Dry Film Productions of Texas film. You'd be in the credits as a producer. It could be anybody. It's probably going to be a 30-minute, probably no more than 30. I don't want to go over into a feature. I'd rather do another short. And I would like to use a certain actor with it. Just to throw this out there, Rob and I, as in Bobbie Skez, are kind of like-minded, and we understand each other on the stage or in front of the camera, and we get things like that. So we're quick. We don't even really have to do a lot of communication to figure out, it's like the basketball players that can communicate on the court without even speaking to one another. Those guys that work together, we're like that. So we can work quick, and we know exactly what we want, and there's really never an argument. Well, when we did a little bit of theater one time, I would always ask Rob for more rehearsal, because he was always directing me on the stage in a lot of cases. So I'd always, I'd make him rehearse me more. Back in our early days when we were doing Lone Star, and I think that was one of our. Rob was like, okay. I was like, we need more rehearsal. We got to get this down. I want to get the rhythm and all this stuff. And I made him, kind of over-rehearse it, but it was a dang good stage show, because Rob and I found the theater together on the stage. But we don't really need a whole lot of rehearsals in front of the camera. I don't think so, because we've talked about it so much. We've slept by the material. We've watched all of them. I think we work really well once we're right there and doing it. And as a team, we work well too. Even when we brought Corbin in, we were able to kind of get Corbin up to speed. And Corbin is a very, very technical, very good cameraman, editor. He's intelligent. He works well, and he kind of looks like a young Scorsese a little bit. So I didn't say, he's got some photos. He looked kind of like maybe a young Scorsese, a white Scorsese kind of thing. But I don't know his ethnicity, but or maybe a young George Lucas. Maybe that's what I was thinking. But yeah, probably a younger George Lucas, I think. But anyway, we took off really, really well. We didn't have any problems at all with Once in a Lifetime, or From Now Until Morning, or that side. Well, Rob went on that side, but he was on The Way of Man. It was just, we were right into it. We were all relaxed. We were able to get everything down pretty quick, and then we went off to 7-Eleven and picked up some waters and that kind of thing. But anyway, I kind of like that, working with friends. I like the idea on being friends. And if I ever did do another type of show with someone else, I would like to meet them and hang out with them. Well, we would do that when we do scene work with acting. We would go and get coffee. We'd go hang out. We'd be friends. We'd find a way to be friends, and then we wouldn't approach the stage as strangers. We would go and we'd talk about movies and hang out and stuff like that, because you have that friendship within the production. Example of Uta Hagen, when she talks about someone waiting, they don't just stand there completely. I do like stillness though, but even when he's standing like that, There's still some kind of movement in the phone. Right there he's very still. You can see he's kind of answering the phone. He's like kind of like listening. He's doing something with the phone. So it's not just, like The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman. He's standing. I like that though for some reason. It's kind of because he was breaking the rules on that. Dustin Hoffman always broke the rules in acting. And he's really one of our best actors. But The Graduate, he's just completely still, and it made sense. Coming out, he was a guy coming out of school and going into the world before he ran into Miss Robinson. Of course, I hit upon Mike Nichols from The Graduate. And listen, if I was in a room full of a bunch of film majors, I'd be asking questions. That's what I'd be doing. But I love it all. I got my little internet movie database. I'd say, just give me a second, and then I would look it up. But Mike Nichols is who did The Graduate. And he also did Regarding Henry, which I thought was a really, really good one with Harrison Ford. He had a great career. He's passed away at 83. The Graduate's a beautiful film. For some reason, the thing you think about Hoffman, you kind of fall in love. He's so lovable, Dustin Hoffman. Even as an older Dustin Hoffman, which he did that thing with Ben Stiller, which I thought was brilliant. Not very long ago, where they're running down the streets of New York. Hoffman is always. I'm so honored that I was on set with him, even though I was only an extra. But I was so honored and so flabbergasted that I didn't know when to move when the camera was moving, and I messed up a whole shot. Sorry about that, Jake Gyllenhaal and Dustin Hoffman. They had to redo that scene, but I thought they needed a little more rehearsal. But seeing him from a distance drinking a Heineken was like seeing like a god, almost. Even though he, just looked like a normal guy on set. But it was funny when he approached, because I heard him, because I know his voice, He walks up. We're in a long line waiting on Moonlight Mile. We already got our, the little things on the side, sideburns. We got the sideburns on because we're doing this 1970s thing. We're all waiting as extras. They're all serious actors. And I hear this guy going, I'm so sure. I'm so sure. I turned around, is that Hoffman? It was Hoffman walking right by. The amount of extras were amazing. There were many extras on a film, on a set that they didn't even really need it at that moment. I think it was maybe a Touchstone. No, see, it wasn't Touchstone. Was it Touchstone? Moonlight Mile, Jake Gyllenhaal, Dustin Hoffman. That was Touchstone. I think it was traded off to Touchstone, because later we would work with Castle Rock with Frank Darabont. All right, so A Thin Blue Line is Errol Morris. And Morris did a successful documentary about a man that was wrongly accused of murder by a corrupt police department in Dallas in 1988. And it's still being talked about today. That the film still goes to a festival and stuff. A friend of mine that's interested in filmmaking had got a hold of me when I started the Please Subscribe show, and told me, that I think I had a conversation with him or a chat. He said, I got to meet him, Errol Morris, and during the, it was like a showing of the documentary. Great documentarian. He's also done some other great work too. Check him out. Errol Morris, 1988 film, The Thin Blue Line. It's about Dallas and the police department and a wrongly accused man.